is like the third video in a row that I'm recording, and it's a bit tricky, a bit dangerous, because I do not have my phone plugged to battery and I do not have unlimited space on my phone, so it might stop in the middle. Today I want to talk about regrets when it comes to detransitioning, and yeah, I get asked a lot if I do experience regret, if I regret my transition, and this is like different for everyone you ask. And I personally am very happy to say that I don't feel regret about the decision I made. And I think this is depending on different factors that led me into transitioning. First of all, when I started taking testosterone, I was 20 to 21 years old. When I came out as transgender in 2016 when I was 20, and I started hormones like 6 months later, I think, and I had mastectomy 1 year later. It's actually really recent that I had my it's 1 year ago that I had my mastectomy, and I am incredibly happy. I am so happy that I never got a hysterectomy, which is the removal of your female organs, uterus and whatever you call them. I don't know the English language here. And yeah, I think if I would have experienced that, maybe my situation would be very different, because that would mean that my body cannot produce estrogen on its own, and I would be dependent on hormones for the rest of my life. I was already through puberty, and I don't want to say that teenagers or young people can't make decisions. That's totally not what I want to say, but I think there are certain parts, I don't think that it is this way. There are certain parts in your brain, I cannot name them, but that develop throughout puberty, and there are parts in your brain that that are for, the part for decision making. I think it's one part here in front, and this is growing and developing through puberty and is only fully developed at the age of, I think, 20 or something like this. Like, for example, my best friend, when I was a teenager, she made herself a tunnel, although her mother was not allowing it. And then when her mother saw her, I don't know, she just didn't think of the consequences, but of course her mother saw that she was stretching a tunnel, and her mother was like, "What is this in your ear?" And her reaction was just to get up and run away. This is the kind of behavior that adults would probably not do because they think of the consequences, and adults and younger people do not think of consequences the same way as a grown-up brain does. So this is probably the least biological way to explain it, but I think that I was thinking about the consequences in a very different way than people who are 16 would do, and I at some point realized that I had this thought that, okay, I might maybe not be trans, whatever, but I'm never going to find out if I don't try it out. And I knew that there are changes that are irreversible, and I said, okay, but I would deal with these changes. I could live with them, knowing that it would have brought me to the point of knowing if I'm really trans or not. And at that time I was 100% sure that of course this would never happen. That was just a theoretical thought. I was like, yeah, but I'm going to take hormones for the rest of my life. I can't picture myself ever stopping. I know that I'm trans and I want to live as man for the rest of my life. And I am a very extreme person, in my opinion changes like this. So yes, here I am just a few years later being yeah, I think I'm not going to live as a man for the rest of my life. But I knew that I had in mind that this could happen, and I do not regret, because I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't be at the position and the mindset I have right now if I wouldn't have gone this path. And it would have never led me to where I am right now. Literally, I like to believe in things like this, but I think that I would have never met my partner. I would have never, for example, I made a my bachelor work on the topic of transgender, and I'm publishing it with a publisher, and like I'm publishing my first comic already. Like all these things that would have never happened if I would have never identified as trans, and I would have never went this path that I went. I'm really happy about the mastectomy that I got. I had a very difficult relationship with my breasts. I don't know if I could have managed to overcome the dysphoria I felt about my breast. I don't know, and I will never find out if it would have been possible. And it feels a bit like I took the escape, I took like the healthy way, or maybe like strong or whatever way for me personally would have been to overcome my dysphoria by changing my mindset and accepting my body the way it is instead of changing it. And it feels a bit like the surgery was a kind of shortcut, and it was a solution, like it helped, and I feel so much better about my body now. It is a way that helps with some things but not with others on a long term. Like the problems behind the reason why I felt the way about my breasts that I did, they're not gone, they're still there. Anyway, so I am very happy that I still like feel so positive about the mastectomy I had, and I do not regret. But I do know that there are lots of people who regret, and it's a very serious topic. I know that because I heard of detransitioners who feel like really, really bad. I heard of suicidal thoughts. I heard of suicides of detransitioners. It's so hard because detransitioners often blame themselves because they made the decisions they did, and now they are in a position where they don't want this anymore, and they just think, okay, I just ruined everything, I destroyed everything. I'm like, a lot of people are never gonna receive they're never gonna look like their original sex again, and I think it is like, it's easy to say, of course, like detransitioners are not like, they're not fault of the decisions they made. It's not their fault that they regret right now. It is so tricky because it's like, who do you blame then? And I think it is a mix, and it is society, and it is like different circumstances that you go in. But I think it is it's a really hard topic, and I'm really grateful that I do not experience regret. And I think it is based on the fact that I started transition at a rather old age, like after puberty, and it is also like really related to the fact that I know that I'm going to get female passing back, because I have like the curviest body, like the proportions body ever. Like even now on testosterone, like it is insane. I stopped testosterone a month ago, but even like before stopping testosterone, I just started like dressing a bit different, and for some reason people already confuse me and already like start misgendering me. Like even people that met me as man, knowing that I'm transgender, start to accidentally use female pronouns for me, and not one person, like several people. And I don't know, it's really confusing. It's like, I went on testosterone for more than 2 years, and I'm not even really like, at that point I haven't stopped, and already people misgender me just because of my mindset. What's going on here? And I know like I am just, everything about my body is just very feminine, and I'm gonna have like my hips are growing, and I'm gonna have like very wide hips, and I don't know, it's gonna be tricky for me because I think that I'm gonna go forward in feeling this sort of dysphoria, but I will have to deal with it in other ways. But still, something that I'm happy about is that I'm happy about this going to happen, because it also means that I won't struggle to get female passing back, and at some point I will be able to enter female spaces again without feeling bad there, and like I will manage to go for like to the female, like to the women's shower at the gym, and I do not have to take a shower between penises anymore, because honestly it's just, you look like, as a female, you don't want to stand behind guys like this naked in a shower in the gym. Like, no. No, it's just scary. And I do it anyway, and it's not like, it's dangerous, but yeah. I don't know, I just want to take a fucking shower at the gym. And at some point I'm gonna do that in the women's shower again. I'm really happy about that. So that's me and regrets. It is so, like, I feel so sorry for so many people, like so many detransitions that feel regret. I think the only part where I am very sad about is my voice, because I really liked my voice before. It was a nice voice, and I could sing so high. I used to sing in a choir, and I was always in, like, I don't know the professional names for the different, like, levels and how high you sing in the parts of a choir, whatever. I was always on the highest, like I could sing so high, and I don't know, now I can't sing anymore. Whenever I want to reach, like, the variety of tones I can do is like this, and before it was like this, and now everything's just deep and in one level, and I really miss my singing voice. And that makes me really sad, like really sad. I lost this, but it still is a rather small price that I paid for what I got from it, because I'm still happy. Like, I think the thought that transition actually brought me somewhere, like transition was still a step forward, although I'm going in a completely different direction now. It is a good thought that helps me, because I know, okay, there are lots of things that I would have never had, would have never experienced, would have never happened if I wouldn't have come out as transgender. So as always, I'd be happy to hear about what you think about this topic in the comments. Maybe you want to share your experiences with regrets if you're a detransitioner, and I will speak to you soon.